Hey, what's up everyone? In this video we're going to throw 200 euros worth of mods onto this 160 euro Kramer Beretta Special that I've bought a couple of months ago as a B stock. So if you want to see my first impressions about this guitar, you can watch that video up in the top right hand corner. Now, before I'm going to do the mods, let me quickly show you what items I got for the guitar. Now here's my little box of wonder. First of all, there is obviously a new string set. These are 9s. The guitar comes with 10s from the factory, but that's all I got for today. A new nut, Black Tusk from Graphtec. This replaces the cheap plastic nut and should improve the overall tuning stability because it allows the strings to slip nicely through the nut slots. Harley Benton locking tuners in black. They come in at around 40 or 45 euros. Speaking of hardware, I've got myself this very cheap black tremolo bridge that hopefully fits the guitar. On Amazon, I believe it was 20 euros. It was the cheapest piece of hardware I've ever bought for a guitar. So I figured it can't be worse than the original one. And I wanted the black one. Let's see how this is going to perform. Last but not least, I got this Seymour Duncan TB5, of course, in the zebra look. Now these would come in at around 130 euros, I believe, but I've got this one for free from Jason at Legendary Pickups, who had this lying around and was the perfect pickup for this mod project. If you didn't know, I am a Legendary Pickups ambassador. I play a Scion set in my main guitar and have a set of another model lying around for another project as well. And I really like those pickups, so make sure to check them out, and big thanks to Jason for sending this over for this project. So without further ado, let's get to work. So this is an opportunity to show you my little workbench here that I set up just recently, which is perfect for these little projects. I'll make sure to link all the items down in the description box below if you want to get them for yourself. So I just started with removing the strings, removing the back plate and loosening the claw so I can remove the springs safely. Next I removed the bridge, which is all just straightforward screws. This is the nasty cavity that I found, but I guess that's when you spend 160 euros on the guitar. Next I removed the original tuners and the truss rod cover to free the nut from the slot with just a couple of taps, and it comes right out. I used some WD-40 on the tuning washers so they go in a bit smoother. If you wanted why I just turned left there on the screw, that's to find the thread and not just butcher the screw in and mess up the thread. Next I cleaned the slot with a very sharp chisel from the glue residue. Now the new nut is slightly wider than you need to be, so you have to use some sandpaper and just sand down both edges until it sits flush with the neck. So sand, check, sand, and if it's starting to fit you can switch to a higher grit sandpaper to make it all nice and smooth, and it will basically look like it came from the factory with the right width. You just saw me there pushing in that nut because it fits so snug there was no need for glue. Next I decided to polish the frets, which is quite an easy task with my Proxon Dremel and a little polishing wheel and some polishing paste. It takes like 20 minutes to half an hour, but it's absolutely worth it because it will not only improve the look of the frets but also how they feel, because you add extra smoothness to the surface. If you don't have a Dremel, you can polish it up by hand with some chrome polish as well. Just make sure to also tape off the fretboard around the fret that you're working on. After the fret polish, I opened up the electronics cavity cover and I prepared the wires for the soldering. Here I am soldering together red and white, which will be taped off. The black wire is the hot output on Seymour Duncans. So here I am putting a little shrinking tube over the two wires that are not needed and just carefully shrinking it with the shaft of the soldering iron. Of course, before I can install the new pickup, I have to desolder the wires from the single volume pod that is on the guitar. It's just two wires, the hot output and the ground. Then it's time to remove the pickup ring and remove that original pickup as well. I have no idea what model this is. This is just some no-name pickup that Kramer is using. And how Chris Fix would say, out with the old and in with the new. Sorry, I just had to. So right there, I'm just fiddling around and trying to get that screw into the pickup. It was only after like 5 minutes of very annoying fiddling with the screw and the springs that I realized that I had to use a thinner screw for the Seymour Duncan. So it's time to thread the needle, and get the new pickup with the ring in place. So all in all, this is a very, very straightforward modding project. If you have never done anything like it before, I can definitely recommend a cheap guitar like this. Just get some new hardware, new pickup that you like, and just make it your own. So it's time to solder in the new pickup, which was pretty much straightforward as well. Just two wires. Here's the main hot output, which is the black wire, which is super confusing. Seymour Duncan, why don't you just use the red one as your hot output, just like everyone else? So just doing a quick check before reassembling it, and nope. So some fiddlage was needed. So I can't really tell you what the problem was. I think the bare wire and the hot output touched, and that's why there was no signal. I can't tell you, honestly. It just suddenly worked. So finally time to install the very, very nice looking black bridge. 6-point trem, which I'm not a fan of. I've seen someone install a Floyd Rose into this exact guitar. It's a bit too much work for me, considering I don't like the sound that much of the guitar. But that would surely take it on the next level. So now it's just a matter of closing everything up, restringing it, and making use of those locking tuners. So that's the beauty with them. You just pull the string all the way through, you lock it down, and you clip off the axis. And boom, there you go. Rinse and repeat for the other strings. Trussfoot cover comes back on, and the little foam piece behind the nut to prevent the strings from ringing. Now, just tuning the guitar, I did a little setup off camera, which I'm going to show in a future video how to do that. And alright, it's next day and check it out. It's awesome. I love it. The black hardware does this guitar so well. It really needs this. And look at the headstock. So good. So good. I love it. So, was it worth it? Was it worth the 200 euros worth of mods? Well, from an aesthetic standpoint, I don't know, the guitar speaks for itself. I think it looks really great. It looks much more like a quality guitar. I don't like the chrome hardware on this. The real Seymour Duncan looks great as well. It has a different appearance than the stock pickup. But what about the playing and what about the sound? So far, I can tell you I really like the playing because the frets are nice and shiny. They also look very great, by the way. The issue that this guitar had with the strings being caught at the nut has been resolved with the Graphtec nut. The install was pretty easy, and if you have this guitar and you just want to spend these 10 euros on this nut, I think that's worth it already. This will help a lot if you have tuning issues with this guitar. Now, the bridge is now also more usable if you want to do light tremolo work, because beforehand it was just impossible. If you would do the slightest movement on the bridge, you were out of tune. Now this problem is away. Also, it is very handy with locking tuners if you want to change strings, and they also help to keep the guitar in tune. Other than that, sound-wise, I was a bit surprised that it's not that of a difference. The difference is there. Chords are clearer and it has more defined attack. However, I feel like this guitar is a perfect example, and I'm getting a lot of hate in the comments, but that's fine. It's good for the algorithm. This guitar is the perfect example for a tone wood, argument, because I don't like the acoustic tone of this guitar, and a 130 euro pickup cannot change this. It can improve the characteristic of the guitar that the guitar has with its woods and construction, but it cannot fundamentally change the sound of this guitar, which sounds okay for me, for my taste. I think it's a bit wishy-washy. It just lacks, it lacks something. It sounds a bit flat to my ears. I still like it though. I like playing it. I like just randomly riffing on it, but it's not the most expensive guitar in the world either. So it's fine. That's fine. Just saying what I think, and that's it. I have no idea what's going to happen next with this. I think this is pretty much why I bought this guitar, because I wanted to do a little mod project. This went really fast. I think it was an evening of work. Of course, it's just one pickup to swap out, just the bridge and tuners, a couple of screws, a couple of washers. The nut went very fast as well. It's basically plug and play, all of the mods that I've just shown here. If you have basic tools, if you have a soldering iron, if you have some sandpaper, I would definitely recommend this mod. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this video. A special thanks goes out to my Patreon community who is supporting me doing this semi-professionally by now. If you enjoyed this video, please consider hitting that subscribe button and give this video a like. This helps me out a lot. If you are interested in behind the scenes, early access to videos, guitar tabs, presets, etc., head over to my Patreon and check it out. You can look forward to more guitar modding projects and Blue Theory stuff. So stay tuned for that, and I will see you next time.